I left the UK 2 years ago and my life completely changed. More freedom, more money, better weather, and honestly, just a richer life. So if you're ready to leave the UK, the ridiculous taxes, the gloomy weather, and the rise in crime, listen up. Because in this video, I'm walking you through exactly how to do it step by step. And no, it's not as simple as booking a one-way flight out of the country. There's so many other things that most people don't even consider, such as becoming a UK non-resident for tax purposes, dealing with a potential exit tax, and any companies that you still have in the UK at the time of departure. And many other issues you need to solve, because if you don't, the UK will most likely still tax you even if you've been away for years. By the way, this is not tax advice. Speak to a professional. I'll give you some direction on this later in this video. The UK used to be such a cool place to live in, London specifically. I went to university in London and I studied accounting and finance, and I had a great time, to be honest. But since then, everything has just been in constant decline. The weather is terrible, and I've always wanted to live somewhere where it's sunny year round. Everyone just tends to avoid risk nowadays and to conform to what other people do. I worked in corporate for about a year, and let me tell you, no one under the age of 30 was really ambitious. Back in the days, if you wanted to have a good career, you would climb the corporate ladder, and everyone was ambitious. Everyone who was ambitious wanted to work corporate, whereas now you can see that all the ambitious people are moving abroad and starting their own online business, because that's where opportunity is. The economy has been awful, the crime has been rising. You don't need me to tell you, you've probably seen it firsthand. I'm not even gonna comment a lot on the immigration. I don't really follow politics, I focus on my own lane, but it's under everyone's eyes what's happening with immigration and illegal immigration, particularly in the UK. And on top of all of that, I was paying 40 to 45% tax for all these problems. So I just came to the conclusion that this wasn't a deal that I wanted to make anymore. So I left and I moved to Thailand specifically. Why did I move to Thailand? Thailand fixed all the problems I had with the UK. Thailand has great weather, aside a couple months when it's rainy season, but I just spend that time somewhere else, it's not that bad. You can pay close to 0% tax as an online entrepreneur if you build your structure correctly. It's extremely safe, and this is because the rules are very strict. You could go to jail for stealing a toastie at 7-Eleven. It's the kind of society that doesn't tolerate crime. It's just not in their culture. So as a result, a lot of people feel safe even leaving the house without locking it, or leaving their motorbikes unattended with their keys still in. And it just seems like every successful and growth-minded person is moving to Bangkok, which is making Thailand, and Bangkok in particular, an amazing hub for online entrepreneurs like myself. If you yourself are looking to move to Thailand specifically, by the way, and you want someone's help to go through this entire process from exiting the UK tax system to becoming a Thai tax resident and forming your company offshore, then you can book a free 45-minute consultation call with myself or a member of my team, where we can walk you through this entire process, tell you exactly how it can work for your specific situation, and then if you want to use our services, we can do all of this for you for a very reasonable price. The call booking link is down in the description if you're interested in that. Now let's go over the high-level process of what it takes to become a non-resident in the UK. Step 1 of the process is choose where you'll live next. Don't start by exiting, start by deciding the next country. This is because you're gonna need a new place to go, a residency permit or a visa that allows you to work and live in the new country, and a proper setup to make sure the exit is smooth. Design your ideal dream city with all its criteria, so its weather, the vibe, the people, the taxes, and then compare it to existing cities. You want to weigh them against each other and see which one is closer to your ideal dream city. Thailand matched my criteria because you've got Bangkok, the big city, and you've got the tropical islands in Koh Samui and Phuket, but it may not match yours. Now, the next step is becoming a UK non-resident. And luckily, the UK has a very clear in or out test on the government website called the Statutory residency test. And this is what it looks like. There are several tests related to how long you spend in the UK and how many ties you can have in the UK. The first one is the automatic overseas test. Basically, if you pass any of these tests, then automatically you're considered a non-resident for tax purposes. If you don't meet any of these tests, then you go on to the automatic UK tests. So if you meet any of these tests, then you are a UK tax resident and you have to pay UK tax. If you meet one of these, then it's over, you're non-resident. Then if you don't meet any of the automatic overseas tests, then you have to go to the automatic UK test, right? If you meet one of these, then you're a UK tax resident, full stop. If you don't meet either of them, then you go onto the sufficient ties test. You go onto the sufficient ties test, and here it's where, they'll give you 4 or 5 ties. I'm not going to go in too much detail in this video, but they'll give you 5 ties, and you basically need to select the one that apply to you. And then based on the number of ties you have, there's going to be a number of days where if you spend 1 day over, you're a tax resident. If you spend 1 day under, you're not a tax resident. But the key levers, as you can see, will be days spent in the UK and ties to the UK. The first automatic overseas test is if you were resident in the UK for 1 or more of the 3 tax years. So basically, if you've been living in the UK and you spend fewer than 16 days in the tax year. So if you spend less than 16 days from the 6th of April to the 5th of April, then you're just not a tax resident. The second test is if you weren't a tax resident for any of the previous 3 years. This is probably not you, since you're in the UK. The third automatic overseas test, which is the one that applies to quite a few people, is if they spend fewer than 91 days in the UK and they only work for less than 31 days. Again, it gets complicated. I'm not going to get into detail. I, for example, have family in the UK, so I do go back from time to time, and you may want to go back from time to time too if you have friends and family, but I make sure I'm well under the threshold that would make me a tax resident. In most cases, that's less than 91 days. That should be sufficient to be considered a non-tax resident, but for your situation, it might be slightly different. Another very important step that is often overlooked is the 5-year rule. So if you become UK resident again within 5 years, certain gains during those years can be taxed in the UK. For example, if you leave the UK and then you sell your company or you sell crypto in a 0% tax place and you return in year 4, the UK still taxes those gains. This means that you need to make sure that when you leave, you should plan to stay out for at least 5 years. Otherwise, they can still tax your capital gains. Again, I'll leave the link in the description for you to look at all the exceptions and the details regarding the 5-year rule. Another important part is split year treatment. The UK tax year runs from April to April, which is quite unusual, but that's just how it is. So if you leave mid-tax year, then you should apply for split years treatment. And all this does is it makes you a non-resident from the day you leave and not the end of the tax year. So if you're leaving mid-year, the first part of the year, you'll be considered a tax resident. The second part of the year, you'll be considered a non-tax resident. So if you are leaving mid-year, this is definitely something that you should do. The last thing to consider is what to do with your existing UK companies. And while you can keep them open if you have a business partner operating from the UK, the managing and controlling the company from the UK, usually the simple solution, and the one I see most often, is to just dissolve the UK company after becoming non-resident and forming a new company in your new destination, or wherever it makes most sense to have your new company. So this is just a high-level overview of what it takes to become a UK non-resident for tax purposes. The specifics will depend on your situation and context. If you want my team to help you leave the UK in a way that's tailored to your particular situation, you can book a call using the first link in the description down below. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.